the season's finally here, and the players hit the field.
Hey, howdy, hi, Braves Country Radio. The Armchair Quarterbacks are back for the Monday edition beginning September 29th. We'll be reacting to the world of football from the weekend and getting you set for the week ahead. We'll also be talking Major League Baseball all October long, switching gears to the MLB free agent trade hot stove season that begins when the World Series comes to its conclusion. It's the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show, Monday mornings, 9 a.m., right here on Braves Country Radio.
The armchair quarterback, he's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man with a cool one in his head. The wife.
Armchair.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
Why did you get so drunk?
You got drunk. I'm just really exhausted.
What's in that cup?
Rum and Cokes?
Do you have any idea how important this is? We're trying to save the pub. Really? This is what you're doing? This is what you're doing?
Chief, what do you want to do tonight?
Same thing we do every night. Try to take over the world.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Armchair. YouTube Live.
Radio station.
The radio station you can call your own. Do you know what listeners like about our station?
I like everything.
It's always on my radio. We never stop the music, except for now, when I talk. Armchair.
Do you think you can get me a tape of the show?
What on earth for?
Well, how often do you get to hear your son on the radio?
I'm on the radio every day.
You're listening to WQVZ, 1700 AM Mission Radio.
For me and the Lord, we got an understanding. We're on a mission from God.
They've given me less than 1 year to turn this place around. Forget about the way it used to be. This is not a damn democracy. We are in a state of emergency, and my word is law.
10 years ago, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from maximum security stockade. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire...
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man with a cool one in his head. Yeah, the armchair quarterback.
Yeah, howdy, hi, and how the hell are you? We are the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. Joining us today is Mr. Doug. Doug, how the hell are you, brother?
Doing all right, doing all right.
Did you stay up and watch that game last night?
Most of it. Fell asleep, but
yeah, I hit my lock on that one, on the under. It was getting dicey. It was sewn up, and all of a sudden they started scoring points late. I was like, "What the hell, man? Quit playing prevent defense. All that does is prevent you from winning." But Green Bay ends up, all in all, when it's all said and done, manhandling Washington, which is what I kind of expected, but I didn't love the line as much, so I went with the under, and the under hit big time. The over-under was 50.5 last night, and the total points were 45, and that was after two late scores by Washington. So really feel good about that pick, and we've actually got a decent college football game tonight as Colorado is going to face the Houston. I believe it's in Houston. And so to me, that's not a bad appetizer going into the weekend, is it?
no, it's not too bad at all.
I see that Deion's going to start a new quarterback. I don't know enough about him to tell you anything about it. I just saw that he's going to start a new quarterback. His over-under right now in Vegas is what I saw is 5.5 wins. And if you can get that, I would take it because I don't think he's going to have a very good season. Yeah, Scooby, I saw NC State did cover it ended up being -7.5 at kickoff. I actually took it on a teaser and covered that. So I got Wake Forest plus 14.5. So they are 13.5, and they ended up winning by or losing by 10, I guess I should say. But it's a win if your team covered. So I did a teaser where I took the under I took the under straight up on the Green Bay game. This is in real life, not on our picks. And then I did another teaser last night where I took the under and I took Wake Forest because I just didn't think NC State would be able to beat Wake Forest on the road. They're a decent team, but they're not a great team, and Wake Forest always seems to be a little tricky when they're at home, so it ended up playing out well. So I'm off and running to a very, very good start for the weekend, and we hope to keep it rolling. Doug, I meant to send this to you, but we went out for my birthday dinner last night, and I got sidetracked, but I do want you to know on the stupid underdog, Bobby took the Carolina Panthers plus 6.5. Because we're going to start off with that so we can get your pick. But I wanted you to know that. So you got about 15 seconds to shuffle if for some reason you win it. I doubt you win NFL, but if you did go NFL, there you have that. All right, let's get into the stupid underdog.
There's no need to fear.
Stupid
Underdog is here.
Stupid underdog. Stupid underdog.
Boom, boom. All right. Dougie Fresh. Let me put the numbers up so everybody's aware that didn't catch us yesterday. So there we are on the stupid underdog. Both Bobby and Doug are tied at -6. I lost as well, so I'm back down to 11.5. So it's still the same margin of victory, but I really wanted to cover that spread. I did not get that luck. Okay, Doug, let's make sure we get your number right this time. Because was it last week that we were talking about was it last week or the week before where you misspoke? You knew what you wanted, and I ended up getting it straightened off air. But anyways,
that was week 1 with UCLA and Utah.
Right, I knew UCLA was involved, but I don't think we ever addressed it. But anyways, because I texted Doug back, I was like, dude, they're not underdogs or favorite. He goes, well, yeah, that's what I meant.
That's what.
Swear to God, man. Me and you are not going to be seeing eye to eye. All right. Where are you going for your stupid underdog today, sir?
I am going with Arkansas to beat Ole Miss.
Arkansas to beat Ole Miss. And give me 1 second. I'm trying to find
That's on ESPN. At 7 p.m.
Arkansas to beat Ole Miss. And what is the line that you have there?
6.5.
Okay. So that's SEC, Arkansas, Ole Miss. The kickoff is 7 p.m. That's on ESPN, 7 p.m. And it's 6.5. And you're taking the Arkansas Razorbacks to pull off the upset. Why are you taking Arkansas to go into the den of Ole Miss to pull off the dub?
Well, because I think a story that nobody's talking about how great Arkansas is to that quarterback of theirs, Tyron Green.
Uh-huh.
The guy, that's the true Heisman, should be the true Heisman winner. This guy is a phenomenal quarterback. And I think Ole Miss, and it's kind of the same old story year after year with Ole Miss. We get to week 3, week 4, everybody's talking about they're going to make the playoffs. And they blow a game that ruins the rest of the season. And I think this week is the week that they shoot the bed.
You know, is this sour grapes because Ole Miss struggled against Kentucky?
Yes.
I know you took Kentucky last week, and when you took it, I mean, if you remember me saying, I was like, man, I don't know, that's a difficult place to go in Kentucky. I know Kentucky didn't look phenomenal, but any Mark Stoops team is going to end up being a good old-fashioned rock fight. And whatever the line is, I tend to lean with Mark Stoops, even if I don't think they're going to win the game. I didn't touch the game, to be honest, on the whole front. But, man, I didn't like it off the jump because, and nothing against on what you were saying, I understood why you thought that way. But man, Stoops he's a tough win on the road. I mean, especially if you go in there on the road to face him, he is really tough. And his defense, remember he started as a defensive coordinator at Florida State before he went to Kentucky, and that was many moons ago. And a lot of people at the time felt like that they should have went after him when Jimbo left and all that kind of stuff. I've never wanted him as a head coach because though it's solid for what Kentucky does, it's a boring version of football, and I don't want to sit there and watch it every Saturday. But anyways, back to the whole Arkansas game. I don't hate that pick, man. I mean, it's just I would love to be getting more points, so I'm probably steering clear of that game per se. But that leaves me with my stupid underdog. And I know this one's probably not going to hit, but it's too juicy if it does hit. I got to keep the ball rolling with the South Florida Bulls. They are getting 17.5. And see, yours is Arkansas plus 6.5. They're getting 17.5 points. They're 2-0. Miami's 2-0. I get it. Miami's got the big win against Notre Dame. But South Florida, if they somehow win this game, they don't even have to win if they just keep it close. They're the front runner of the group of 5 in the playoffs.
Yes.
They've beaten Boise State, who was number 25 at the time. They beat Florida, who was number 13 at the time. And now they face number 5, Miami. And if they beat all 3 of these teams, then I think that's a tall task. But even if they don't, listen to the rest of their slate, Doug. South Carolina State, Charlotte, North Texas, FAU, at Memphis. That'll be tricky. UTSA. We'll see what Navy is in mid-November at Navy. And then UAB and Rice. They might have already punched their ticket, but if they play a very competitive game on Saturday, I think they absolutely will punch their ticket. As long as they don't go out there and lay an egg, I think they are the front runner for the group of 5.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a few other games this week. It's kind of like when you're in, whatever from the GS5, Notre Dame 2 has to win. Because they win, I think they'll cruise the rest of the way too. So yeah, South Florida has all the motivation to play close or win this game.
I agree. All right, fantasy football love and hates this week. We're gonna go ahead and get into that. Where's our little fantasy football little? We got the thing back. I thought I'd lost the damn thing, but well, where is it? It's supposed to be in here somewhere. Oh, here we go. And maybe we'll end up having it. There it is. Jesus.
Fantasy football time. Fantasy football time.
All right, let's get into it. You've got the fantasy football love and hate, and we're going to be doing this on Fridays with Doug and I. On Thursdays, Bobby and I are going to be trying to do the DFS. It didn't load yesterday. We couldn't get anything in there, but this is what we're going to go with the love or hate. So let's start off with your hates, Doug. And what we're looking at, y'all, are guys that are ranked pretty high up on this week that you just don't like where they're being ranked. And either you're talking about season long, you're talking about DFS, that you're steering clear because you don't like the matchup. What you got?
First one I got is Kansas City's running back. I hate Isaiah Pacheco this week. I absolutely abhor him this week.
You gonna give us a reason, or you just gonna?
Oh,
just talk show talk.
No, I'm saying with Isaiah Pacheco, I just hate him because I don't like their matchup this week. I'm sorry that I have him in one of my leagues overall. I think he's going to be a fantasy dud all season, but especially this week. Just the way Kansas City played last week, I don't see him being a big part of this game this on Sunday.
Yeah, I've actually got him on my hate list as well. I can shift elsewhere, but I'm not a big fan of his either. Mainly because I think that Philadelphia defensive front and Carter is going to play. That was total hogwash what they did. They said that because he got kicked out at the beginning of the game, that's going to equate for a 1-game suspension. I'm not a Cowboy fan, Giant fan, or Washington fan, so this isn't me just hating on the Eagles. But that's ridiculous. I've never even heard of that in any sport where we're going to give you a 1-game suspension. But you know the game you got kicked out of? That's going to serve as your 1-game suspension. I've never even heard of that as being even a thing. Looking at what we got going on here, my number one hate, James Conner against Carolina. I don't like him at all. He's still being ranked in the top 10 to top 15, depending on whether you're on Fantasy Pros or any other outlets. It looks like it's a true timeshare between him and Trey Benson, and I'm not willing to play the guessing game of who's got the hot hand this week. So James Conner to me is an absolute hard pass.
Yeah, I was suspicious of him from the beginning of the season, and come week 2, I still hate him, and I'm glad I didn't draft him in the first place.
Yeah, I don't see him being something that's in years past, he's been very, very reliable, but now you can tell that the tread is wearing off the tires. And if you have him, you better have Trey Benson and vice versa. Trey Benson and vice versa. I don't recommend having either one of them right now, unless you just want to do a long play and you have a deep bench. Maybe you grab a Trey Benson and hope for the best, but you're probably going to be going nuts all year long.
Yep. And I'm just waiting for that pop-up injury where he misses, the middle of the season, weeks 5, 6, 7, and 8 with a bad hamstring or a high ankle sprain, which is something that's become more and more common for him.
Yeah, he always seems to get banged up, and most running backs do. But last year he avoided it mostly, and which means it's probably due to as they say, regress. Even that's really not the proper term in 2025. And then plus you got the extra year of Trey Benson ready to roll. People don't remember him. He did play at Florida State, so I did watch him quite a bit. He's a talented running back, but I still don't think he's going to get what you would call the bulk of the carries, not unless there's a horrific injury, right? What's your next hate?
My next hate is going to be Bo Nix. I didn't like the way he played last week, and I definitely don't want him on my team this week. He just looked lost to me. He just didn't look like what he looked like at the beginning or the ending of last season. So I'm staying the heck away from him.
Yeah, especially I think he's a spot start. I think he's really matchup related, to be honest with you. I don't think he's what you would consider a guy that, for lack of a better term, is just a lock and load every week, right? I think he's a guy that you're going to have to absolutely go out there and make the case every week. Do I start him or do I start my other quarterback, whoever it is? And he's probably not far from being a streamer. For him not to put up any numbers against the Titans' terrible defense,
yeah,
is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And so with Bo Nix, I actually have him. I had him in a few leagues. I've dropped him in some because there's other options out there. And I really don't care if I lose him long-term because it's going to be an absolute disaster. Week in and week out, you're not going to – I like his upside, but it's got to be on the right matchup. And I honestly think what it's going to be, and maybe what we're getting out of Bryce Young at this point, is he going to be another guy that you're going to have to wait till midway through the season for him to really get rolling? So remember last year towards the end, he was playing phenomenal. And that's great, but you don't have the entire season to wait for him to just figure it out. And he really didn't look that great against Tennessee. And Tennessee, once again, I'm a Titans fan. That defense is not good. It's not. If it wasn't for a couple of boneheaded mistakes on the defensive end for penalties down the stretch, that game could have turned out a lot differently.
Yeah.
All right, my next hate on the list. This guy's ranked up pretty high this week, but I just don't like his matchup. It's not that I don't like him as a running back. I don't like his matchup, and that's Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard is anywhere depending on he's as low as 15. If you've got a better option, and a lot of times you don't, but if you have, but I'm looking this more of the DFS at Arizona. I think it's going to be a good old-fashioned rock fight. I think he's going to have a hard time finding running lanes. And Chuba Hubbard, though I do like him long-term in 2025, I just don't like this matchup. What is your loves? Give me two loves real quick, and then we'll move on.
Two loves. I tell you, I love Jordan Mason this week. Jordan Mason proved last week that, from a fantasy point number, he's going to put up he's going to be part of that passing game. And actually, overall, I think he put up just a little bit more than Aaron Jones did. So I love me some Jordan Mason, especially this week.
Man, I'm still sketchy about that whole situation. If I have one of them, I want both of them because I feel like that's going to be a very fluid situation. But I understand why you're going that route, and the let's be honest, the Falcons defense is not exactly a stalwart. What's your next love?
My next love is just Chase Brown. I'll take Chase Brown all day this week.
I mean, realistically low-hanging fruit, right?
Yes, it is.
I mean, you're talking about loving someone who's in the top 5.
He's top 5, but he didn't especially play well last week, so I'm looking more from a rebound point of view.
All right, these are guys that I love that are a little farther down, which is what we're really looking at on these. See, where's he at on? See, they've changed their. All right, I might have to go in a different direction because I actually don't see him on the board, so maybe there's an injury issue. Let me go with. So this guy is sitting on the outside looking in. This is assuming there's no injury issues with him. Devon Achane at home against New England, I think, look, he's sitting outside the top 10. You might be able to get him on a decent price. The other guy, there he is. Okay, the number one guy I had written down was Breece Hall. They'd actually moved him down even further. I didn't expect him to be down further. I know they're playing against Buffalo, and Buffalo's a good defense. But that's not why I like Breece Hall in this game. I like Breece Hall in this game because I think they're not going to be able to do anything else. So they're going to have to use Hall as much as possible, even dump downs and whatnot. And it's just going to be the over usage of Hall that's going to finally get you to that number. I don't think he's going to rattle off 150 yards or anything like that, but I think they're going to continue to use him, dump it off, and hand the ball off. And then the other one that I like is a quarterback this week. He's pretty far down on the pecking order. Where is he? He's 14th. But I'm not talking about go drop people for this because this is a dart throw. I'm talking about more if you're in the fantasy DFS game. Trevor Lawrence, you ought to be able to get a very good number on him. He didn't have a great week number 1. He's going to be at Cincinnati, and they're going to be throwing the ball back and forth. That should be an absolute shootout. And that's my number 1 love of the week is Trevor Lawrence. I will be shocked if he doesn't throw for 2 touchdowns and somewhere around 250 yards. And that's a pretty good get at the 14th spot. If you're building a DFS, you can usually build that. And it's whether it's DFS like the DraftKings with the salary cap, or if you're talking about an actual draft like they do on Underdog, you're talking about being able to get better players around the other positions and then wait on Trevor Lawrence at the end.
I agree. Trevor Lawrence was one of my other loves. So,
and I'll tell you someone else to keep an eye on. Just put this bee in your bonnet. Jared Goff at home in a must-win situation against Chicago. Ben Johnson coming back, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he might. You can't really call it a revenge, but it's a little bit of a revenge of making people understand that I can do things whether Ben Johnson's my offensive coordinator or not. So I'm big on the Detroit Lions this week. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win big. All right, let's go ahead and move on to what do we have next here on the time for the 6-pack of picks. Well, that's the wrong one. All right, six pack of picks. We'll just do these back and forth as we go, and we're typically going off the lines off of ESPN Bet, and that's only because it's easily accessed by everybody. Doug and I, if we're betting, we're actually doing through Hard Rock in real life, but that's just the way it goes. All right. 6-pack of picks. What is your first pick on the 6-pack, Mr. Dougie Fresh?
All right. 12 noon time on ESPN. We've got Georgia Tech at Clemson. I'm taking Georgia Tech to cover at plus 3.5. I do not know why people think that Clemson is that great. I've watched them for 2 weeks and they're mediocre at best. Mr. King is playing quarterback this week for Georgia Tech. And I think Georgia Tech will cover.
Yeah, I don't hate that one at all. I pull for Georgia Tech just because the whole Atlanta thing. I pull for Georgia Tech because I don't want to see them do well. Now, what I'm seeing is 2.5. Do you still want them?
Ooh. Boy, that must have been a last night thing. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll stick with it.
You know what? I'll give you the 3.5 because we'll give you the 3.5 because the reason why I say that is the line will probably move up and back. And if you had it at 3.5 last night, it's fine. We won't pick because you can probably buy it up under the minus 150 anyway. So
yeah,
we'll call it even, Steven. My first 6-pack of picks on the college slate is the game that I mentioned earlier. I'll go ahead and get that out of the way. Is the South Florida plus 17.5. South Florida seems like they're a team that's going to be able to find a way to stay in games. I do think Miami probably wins the game. I would actually be in shock if South Florida starts off 3-0 considering their schedule. But they're going to find a way. Remember, South Florida and Miami kids, a lot of them went to high school together. They're going to be very familiar with each other. So this isn't just a big school going up against a little school. This is they don't play every year, so you can't call it this way, but in theory, it's a true rivalry. So Miami definitely has the edge. What's funny to me, you know where this game's being played? I mean, where you can watch this game? I guess how I should say it.
The good old CW.
The C-Dub, baby.
The C-Dub.
I saw a Florida State fan giving Miami and South Florida fans a hard time on X this morning because some guy went viral saying, I can't believe this is on the CW. That's all he said. He has like no followers. And people ran with it and started retweeting it. But there was an FSU fan that comes in and goes, he goes, I swear to God, if this game runs late and cuts into my Malcolm in the Middle watching. But yeah, that's crazy. So if you are looking for that game, I did not know this, but someone mentioned it in that whole comment section I was talking about, that if you don't have the CW on your, whether it's rabbit ears or on whatever cable or non-cable, or if you don't have cable, evidently you can download the CW app and watch the game for free.
Mm-hmm.
So you can watch it off your phone or I'm assuming an iPad or whatever. So just keep that in mind if you don't like to pay for ball games, you're looking for something to watch on Saturday, 4:30 Eastern, South Florida, Miami should be a pretty good matchup. And it is they are considered like a rabbit ear type station. It is a free downloadable app. All right, what's your next pick?
All right, 7:30 on NBC. So I'm saying NBC prime time, so you know who I'm talking about. Texas A&M and Notre Dame. This is going to be a nasty run all day, run left, run right, run up the middle game. I think Notre Dame's win, but I'm taking the under at 49.5 because, like I said, it's going to be a grinding
big under. I didn't.
Yeah, that is a big under. That's why I'm saying, and the fact that Texas A&M all offensively, all they do is run with those 4 running backs that they got, and Notre Dame, yes, everybody, Notre Dame, I think will remember to run the ball this week. So
I got good news for you. You're actually gaining a point. It's up to 50.5.
Oh, okay. So the money's moving that way. Just, a little bit of money anyway. But yeah, I do think Notre Dame's going to win this game, but I'm just going to stay with the under.
The opposite direction. People think it's going to be higher scoring, but I think it's going to be higher scoring. I think the reason why they think it's going to be higher scoring is because people like to bet on the over, and it's the NBC game of the night. Right. So a lot of times these numbers are skewed. It's just like the Thursday night game where I talked about this on yesterday's show. The reason why I like the under in that game, it was 50.5 in what is Green Bay has a really good defense in these short weeks. I'm telling you, if you take the under on the Thursday night game, the entire season, I did it last year. And I wish I had the numbers in front of me. I think I was 13-5. It was something ridiculous like that. There may not have been 18 of them, but whatever it was, the short week games, I took the unders, and usually it pays dividends because the defenses this is a totally different subject, but the defenses have the advantage because the offenses don't have enough time to game plan. I'm with you on that. I don't know how that Notre Dame Texas A&M game is that they played. Was it last year that it was a rock fight?
Yeah.
That was last year, right? At Texas A&M?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They
only won 23-13. Notre Dame won 23-13.
Okay, so there you go. So that was what, 36, and I know it's not the same rosters, but man, you're talking about a 2-touchdown over. Oof.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing during the break. I'm running to see what that number is. 50.5, man. I love that one. I won't take it from you, but I love that one. Let me go with my next pick tomorrow. Let me double check and make sure the line hasn't moved. It is one of the biggest games. It's probably the biggest game. It's still there. It's the biggest game of the day. It's the Georgia Bulldogs. Hunker down, you hairy dogs. And the GBO, Go Big Orange, Tennessee Volunteers. It's a 3.5-point spread. The Vols are getting the points. It's in Knoxville. Georgia normally dominates the series, but I think this Tennessee team is better than advertised, and I think they're going to be able to keep it close. I still think Georgia probably squeezes out the win, but it wouldn't shock me if Tennessee upsets them. So give me the Volunteers plus 3.5. It wasn't a big enough spread for me to take it on stupid underdog because you don't gain anything realistically on that. For people who don't understand what we're doing on stupid underdogs, we're doing for the outright W to get the points. And if you cover, you get 3. If you don't cover, you lose 3. Well, 3.5-point spread doesn't make any sense to do that with.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I didn't even want to touch that game this week because, that started out at 6.5 on Monday, and it's slowly been dropping all week long. And the minute it got to 3.5, I didn't want to touch it. I would take Tennessee to cover if it were still at 6 or 6.5.
But honestly, what you might be better off doing is taking them in a teaser.
Mm-hmm.
But for this exercise, I'm going with the Vols. I felt like one of us had to pick the game, and I would rather get the field goal and the hook at home in Knoxville than lay it on the road with Georgia. Because Georgia's not looked that good this year. Now, they haven't played anybody that could be just playing close to the vest, right? They've gone Cupcake City the first 2 games. but that could affect you as well. You haven't played any real opponents. So this is going to be the game. I'm so glad it's playing at 3:30. It should be done by the time the Braves game starts for the broadcast on Saturday night. So I'm locked in. I'm getting my popcorn ready, the whole 9 yards. 3:30. Give me the Volunteers and the hook. But Honest Engine, you're probably better off playing it on a teaser.
Teaser, yeah.
Your next pick.
I'm gonna go with I got at 8 p.m. on ESPN2. I got Duke and Tulane. I'm taking this game because I can't believe Duke is not. I can't believe Tulane is favored by. I know it's just a 1.5, but I think people are overreacting from last week. That game, I know Duke lost last week, but that score was not indicative of how that game was played. Yes, Duke fell apart, gave up 4 turnovers late, but they're far better than Tulane. And Tulane, who did they beat? They beat a crippled Northwestern last week. And telling me that Tulane's better than Duke? No, give me Duke and the 1.5.
I told y'all though, man, that was my lock. Freaking Illinois, man. Illinois is the real deal.
Oh yeah,
they're one of my favorites to make the march. When we did the preseason, and I think it was with you, but it might have been with Bobby. 7.5 was the over under on their win total. And I told everyone to bang that over, and they got it. By the way, Did you see this collapse by the Mets last night?
Yes, I did.
They are collapsing. Good times. We'll talk about that more Braves Country Day at the top of the hour, but they are collapsing.
Yep.
Oof.
As advertised, I think.
Swept by what's his name? John Heyman. He's such a homer that tries to act like he's not, but he puts out a tweet talking about how they collapsed, and now they're just a game and a half in front of the 2 teams chasing San Fran and Cincy.
Mm-hmm.
And but he mentions their incredible payroll because he says something in the tweet, something like $340 million later, they're a game and a half in front of the Reds. And they posted their payrolls, which is much less. I don't remember the numbers, but it was funny because he is so snarky. But this guy all year long will tell you that he's not a New York homer. And of course, he's a New York. He's always bitching and moaning about the Yankees and the Mets if they aren't winning, even though he'll tell you, no, I'm straight down the board. No, you're not. All right. Is it my turn or is it your turn?
It's your turn.
You just gave us Duke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Duke is getting plus 1.5, so that's where you're going. Duke plus 1.5.
Yeah,
clear of that game. Tulane, I think you're probably right. Be honest, I'm just steering clear of that game. Tulane can score, and even though they've lost some stuff on the line, everything your lineup says. The only thing that gives me pause is that it is a road game, and it's 86 degrees supposed to be there tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a woofer. Those North Carolina boys, they know heat, but they don't know Louisiana heat. All right, give me my next game. This is a Southeastern Conference game, and let's see, because this line's been moving up and down. On double check and make sure I'm sticking with it regardless, but I want to see where it's at right now. Okay, it is. We're getting it at 5.5 under the minus 150. Give me the Vanderbilt Commodores to cover in South Carolina. And if you do the head-to-head, South Carolina and Vanderbilt both played Virginia Tech. South Carolina was lucky to get out of there alive. Vanderbilt blew their doors off in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
I think Vanderbilt's going to be. It's a sneaky game. Whenever these two teams play, it seems to be. It's one of those under the radar rivalries because they were in the East forever together, right?
Yes.
They're not separated by much as far as travel. So you're going to get some Vanderbilt fans going. But it's 7:45 SEC Network. Give me the Commodores anchor down in South Carolina. Though I don't think they get the W. I do think they scared the bejeebus out of them. All right, what you got?
My next one, I have 7:30 on ABC, I believe. It's going to be Florida and LSU. First thing up, the impression with this game is LSU's defense is no joke. After watching last week, especially last week, which is why it was kind of indicative of how the game turned out. Give me the under at 46.5. Give me the under.
Florida LSU under 46.5.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be an interesting one. I don't think Florida's as bad as what they looked last week. You did have the bonehead penalty that we talked about yesterday. Bobby kind of broke down for us. That lost in that game. But once again, we don't know if South Florida, I'll put it this way. By 7:30, we may know a lot more on how impressive the South Florida game was, right? Because by 7:30 Eastern, the South Florida game is coming to an end. If South Florida beats Miami, then all of a sudden that loss to South Florida doesn't look so bad, and if Florida can pull a huge upset off, and they tend to have LSU's number. They do. Over the years, LSU has been like dominant college football program, but I've seen Florida go in and beat them in Louisiana a lot. And even if they don't win, they tend to be very competitive games.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what kind of fight Billy Ball has coming into this week. My next pick on this is, see where are we at? This is 3:30, and I believe if I was going to find this, I can come over here. Is it a 3:30 game? For some reason, I thought it was an 8. It is 3:30. Give me 7.5 points. Sitting at home in Morgantown as West Virginia takes on the Pittsburgh Panthers. I think that is a rivalry that you throw the records out the window regardless. And West Virginia getting a touchdown and a hook, I'll take it all day long in Morgantown.
I got to ask one question about that game. Are we a little worried that this was the same West Virginia team that lost to Ohio last week?
I get that, but first of all, Pittsburgh was not supposed to be very dominant this year anyways, right?
Gotcha.
Pittsburgh is 2-0, but they played Duquesne in Central Michigan. So once again, this rivalry, this used to be one of the great rivalries in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, right? It was.
And it's really fallen under the radar. It's a shame. It's good to see them get back together and play, but it doesn't seem like that they play as often as they used to. In fact, a few years ago, they'd play like for the first time and forever. I haven't looked at it, but I really hope that we have a situation where these two are playing more often. But just because it's in Morgantown, if it was a night game, I'd love it even more, but it's in Morgantown. I'm rolling with the. If Pittsburgh was getting 7.5, I would be rolling with Pittsburgh. I just think it's going to be a one-score game.
Mm-hmm.
And heck, the fact that they lost last week might actually motivate them. All right, what else you got?
I'm just going to be a copycat with you because I haven't talked about it very much, but I agree with everything that you said, and I'm just going to the South Florida Miami game. I got that plus 17 as well. 4:30 on my CW channel.
On the C-Dub.
On the C-Dub. The C-Dub alone, I'm taking South Florida.
CW is on the C-Dub.
But everything you said, and also another thing too, I know Miami won against Notre Dame, but Miami still got that mental problem where they give up points late in games. I mean, watching Notre Dame put up 17 and tied that game late. And Miami's still doing that. You know, all of a sudden they can't play defense in the fourth quarter. So, and South Florida's defense, I'm going to add to it. It's a good defense. This is a good team, and I don't know why people don't take them more seriously. So, yeah, I'm going to go with you too and take that plus 17.5 of South Florida.
The only thing that concerns me about that entire spread is if Miami gets out early and running, does South Florida get out of their game plan, and then the whole thing falls apart?
True.
So that first quarter is going to be very, very important for South Florida to know that they're going to have to just stay the course no matter what's going on, continue to run their game plan, and don't all of a sudden try to get it into an old-fashioned shootout.
Yeah.
My next one, the over-under is up to 53.5. You can get that on a minus 135 on Hard Rock and ESPN Bet as well right now. The over-under 53.5. I'm taking the under on the Georgia Tech Clemson game because I think that is going to be a bloodbath. I think the two of them, you kind of laid out why you like Georgia Tech to begin with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do think Georgia Tech has a decent chance of winning the game. It's in Atlanta. It's at Bobby Dobbs Stadium, so it's not in the Mercedes-Dome. It's going to be outside. It's an early kickoff that usually means a slow start for college kids, especially if they went to DeClerb on Friday night in Atlanta. And the fact that these two teams want to run the ball, and I think the Dabo Swinney's going to just try to get out of there alive. He's not going to try to get too cute with the offense. Give me the under all day long. What's your next pick?
Next pick, I'm dumb. I'm going back on the Arkansas. Arkansas is going to cover that 6.5. Win or lose, even though I got them on the upset, they're going to cover that 6.5.
Okay, Arkansas plus 6.5.
Yeah. I know what you call
For some
it.
reason, I thought I had written down 6 for you already, but no, it was the stupid.
That was the underdog.
Yeah. Okay. So how many have I given you? Because I feel like I jumped one. 1, 2. I gave you the Vols. I gave you South Florida. Oh, I did jump one.
Oh,
is that line still the same? Let's go back to the Southeastern Conference. You just mentioned this game a little while ago, but I want to double check and make sure it hasn't moved on me. Yes. In fact, you can get it now at 8.5. I'll take that all day long. Florida Gators plus 8.5. You can buy that up to a minus 130. I get why people are impressed by LSU's start to the season. First of all, it's only been 2 games. Second of all, do we know how good Clemson really is? I don't know. But they won a game in Clemson. And that's not impressive. I mean, that's not impressive, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same token, it was 17-10. It was a 1-score game. It was a low-scoring ball game. It was a rock fight. How do we give up that many points against Florida in a conference game where I think Florida's going to come out swinging, and you're going to give me a touchdown and a hook, and you can even get it at the 8 and a hook? All day long, baby. Give me the Gators to bounce back. Put a scare into them. I almost thought about taking them on the stupid underdog, but I left it alone. But give me the 8.5, 7.5, whatever you got. If you can tease that, if you can get it to 8 and you can tease it, because by tomorrow the line will probably move even further, then you could get it to 14.5 on a teaser. What was the other game that we were talking about with the teaser? Was it the Tennessee game? I love that.
Yes.
That tease. Tennessee and Florida on the same Saturday. Let's go. All right, what do we have next? We got the locks. What is your lock of the day, sir?
My lock of the day is going to be Texas Tech. Give me Texas Tech, and I believe that the spread is 23.5. Give me Texas Tech to beat on Oregon State all day.
Texas Tech. What time is that? Do you know? Let's see if I can find it real quick. Is it an early game? It is an early game. 3:30 on Fox.
3:30 on Fox.
On the mothership, Fox, not FS1. Is FS1 even doing games anymore? I haven't even seen them mentioned.
No, I think the CW is taking all their games.
I guess CW and TNT has games tomorrow.
Yeah.
HBO Max, CBS Sports. I have not seen FS1. I wonder if they're, because I know that they're coming out with their own streaming app in October. They're going to band with ESPN where you can bundle it. I wonder if the term FS1 is going away. All right, we gotta get to moving and getting out of here. My lock of the week. I found this one very interesting. Wisconsin. You can probably buy it down at this point, but I grabbed it on last night. They're over under tomorrow to score against Alabama. Alabama's like a 3-touchdown favorite, I believe. So, somewhere in that neighborhood. Let me double check. It's a noon game. It's an early game. It's noon. Yeah, it's a 20.5 point line at this point. The over under for Wisconsin is 12.5 points. Give me the over. You're trying to tell me in 60 minutes they can't figure out a way to score 13 points? I don't think Wisconsin's going to win that game by any stretch of the imagination. But what if Alabama starts blowing them out and they start putting their backups in? You're going to feel comfortable saying, yeah, we're going to keep a Power 5 team to under 13 points? Give me the Wisconsin Badgers. What else we have? What is your cool game of the weekend?
We've talked about it. We've talked about it already. My cool game is the Florida LSU game. I love it when these two teams play every year. There's always something at stake, and you don't know who's going to show up. I don't care what we've talked about. It's a great game to watch.
Well, I thought you were going to take one because always jot down two in case you take one. I love the South Florida Miami game, but to me the cool game is Tennessee Georgia. I mean, 3:30 kickoff, the pageantry of college football, the Big Orange rolling around with the big dogs. I cannot wait for that game. What is your one big thing that happens this weekend?
One big thing. Notre Dame has got to win this game. If they go down 0-2 against ranked opponents before they go into their kind of the soft belly of their schedule, I'm not sure if they get a bid for the national title. I know they have advantages, but I could see being down 0-2 like that works against them. So they've got to come out and play bloody and deal a crushing loss to Texas A&M to get back on track.
Brian says, I hope FSU loses this week. Well, try to keep up. I can guarantee you one thing, Florida State will not lose this week.
No.
I can guarantee you any other time, but they won't lose this week. This week is a for sure. They won't win, but they won't lose. My one big thing that's going to happen this weekend, it's the Florida-Georgia game. The winner of that game gets the inside track to Atlanta. So it's a huge, huge game. And if Georgia wins, remember they play Alabama in the very near future.
Mm-hmm.
The winner of that game then starts looking at, what do I have to do to get myself into Atlanta? Because if they can get to Atlanta, you know you're going to the playoffs. That's the one big thing to me is that Tennessee, boom, they're going to punch their ticket this weekend by beating Georgia. That's the one big thing.
I like it. I like that.
Come on. Then if Tennessee beats Georgia, then that Georgia-Alabama game turns into almost a knockout game.
Yes.
Probably not. You can still lose two games and still get in. But the loser, if Tennessee were to knock off Georgia, then we're talking turkey. Yeah, Brian, it's September 27th. Yeah. So there you go. All right, we got a jam. Braves Country today's coming your way on the other side of this. I got to tear this down so I can build the other one up. We'll see you next time. Good job, Doug. We'll see you next Friday.
All right.
Do we still have the of course we don't.
You want me to sit? Did
well,
you want my
I
survival
changed
thing?
it yesterday because of 9/11. We went silent when we left. Now here we go.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
It's closing time, y'all. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Have a great one. On your way out, please like and subscribe. And don't forget to tip your favorite bartender. We'll see you. I'm Mac Magee, signing off for Braves Country Radio.